Hey everyone, welcome to Anti-Workers United. Today we have an AMA with MaxxChain. So let's get started by having them introduce themselves, tell us the background, their personal experience in crypto, any relevant real life experience, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll jump into it. So my name is Nayan. I've been in crypto for a few years now. We're starting the BSC space and trailed a lot of tokens on that side and seen the ups and downs. Met KP, and we've been good friends since. We've invested in a lot of the same projects, so we've seen a lot of projects grow to from small to big market caps, and saw a lot of projects die out over the years. And I think we've learned a lot based on what these projects have done, in and out of that time. In terms of real world experience, I'm a professional accountant here in Canada, certified professional accountant, and I've been working for one of the largest companies in Canada for the last over 10 years now. So I have a lot of business and managerial experience. And it wasn't always my intention to jump into a project and become a project owner and kind of push all of this and what we have now. A lot of it came to fruition over the last few months, based on how things have gone with what we've seen and what we were involved in. So KP and myself, we were part of a group of individuals that found PoW Chain and PoM and PoM Chain before it was that on ETH 2.0, back in the end of 2022. So we thought it was cool to invest in a brand new chain and see it grow, and we invested in it. All of us invested in it, and we kind of became associated to the chain in the sense that most of what we did was within that chain. So we saw a lot of it grow. We had fun when it was thriving, and then it came a point where I decided to start a project there, and I really didn't know what would have become of it. And lo and behold, it actually did fairly well. And then KP decided to join me. I asked him to join me, and thought let's build something with this. And that's how Maxx was born. So we started as a token on PoM Chain, grew it significantly. We did very well on that side, and our entire plan was to help grow the chain through Maxx. So our plan was to launch 2 other tokens on BSC and ETH, and use that kind of as a welcome mat for investors on the other sides to come into MaxxChain. Now, I think a lot of people here might know what it ultimately ended up happening. We wanted to build on the chain, and things didn't go as planned. They had other plans, wanted to start a different chain and start their own new chain and kind of leave everybody in limbo. So KP and myself, we felt like we were in a position where we had a lot of investors that invested in us, and we didn't want to leave them high and dry. So we tried to take over the old chain since it was proof of work, our efforts, we kept pivoting to try to make it work, but our efforts were ultimately in vain, because there were a lot of actions out of our power that didn't allow us to do it. So we pivoted yet again and decided, let's just build our own chain. So now that's basically where we are. We're in testnet. Our faucet's live. Our ETH presale, which is what we're promoting right now, is currently live on Pink Sale. Our BSC tokens launched, and our mainnet is coming up soon. So all this in the last 3.5 weeks, a lot that myself and KP have done, along with the rest of the team. We're proud of where we are, and got a lot to talk about it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I know a tiny bit just from from Jason, but I never really got into the whole PoM Chain or dealing with Roger, Malcolm, or anything like that. So for me, like personally, if I'm not in it, I kind of let it slide, but if I was personally invested, if our community was invested, then I would really be a lot, harder at it, or going after them, or, doing things. So, I know a tiny bit. And from what I know, that history, then like what you just said, you guys were trying to work there, and they left you in the dust. Basically, you screwed everyone over, the old investors, and we won. And then you guys are taking it into your own hands and created a brand new chain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And I mean, KP, I'll let KP kind of tie into that too.
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Kevin. I go by KP in the space. As Nyan said, we met some time back in the BSC side. My experience with crypto has been since end of 2016, mainly in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then was introduced to the world by SafeMoon, the DeFi world by SafeMoon, and that's kind of when I started engaging more in the DeFi space. But as Nyan said, he has extensive world experience with being an accountant. I myself as well have a lot of business experience with regards to organizations and how to strategically grow them. So organizational development is my actual expertise. Identifying all the things and resources required in order for growth to actually cultivate within our organization. So we're bringing a lot of that experience to the table and actually treating this project as a business itself. This is not, just another crypto project. So we do have big aspirations with regards to where we want to grow this to. And yeah, as far as the backstory with PoW and PoWchain and everything, we were just mere investors. We did not have any of the backstory of Roger and the previous projects and so forth. We just always saw was a chain, a layer one, an opportunity to get in on the ground floor without a VC coming in and, being kind of that first entry point before retail had an opportunity, like with some of your bigger EVMs and your bigger chains. And then, Nyan decided to launch a project, and obviously I jumped on board. And, I think through our very small time there, we did really well. We launched at a 20K market cap, and we reached about a $1.8 million market cap before it was all said and done and trading was paused. Obviously, there was an attempt there 4 weeks ago, when all this kind of like happened, for us to step in as lead developers of the old chain and, establish an infrastructure and maybe put in our own swap and our own RPCs into it and all that stuff. But there was an issue with the supply of PoW and where it was sitting. And we cannot get control of that to, make it our own treasury. So we decided the best thing to do is just to start our own chain. And, this is where we are today. So within the last 3 weeks, we've developed a stellar website that rivals any other blockchain out there. It is extremely resource heavy. It is an all-in-one hub with regards to information for investors, for projects, and for developers, as well as miners. We're definitely wanting to make sure that when we launch our mainnet, we're going to basically be ready to go from day one with on-chain utilities, and we can get more in depth in those and what those are. But yeah, we're excited where we are right now at this point.
All right, perfect. Do you guys want to move along and talk about, the chain? Because I know you guys have two tokens, right? You have the chain,
right?
And then you have the Maxx.
Chain, and then we have the Maxx ecosystem. So we have the chain itself with its own native blockchain coin that is going to be called Power. But then within the chain, we are basically the lead development team, and then we have our own tokens for Maxx that actually do tie into the entire ecosystem. With regards to introduction into the MaxxChain for users that invest on our BSC side and Ethereum side through staking and earning rewards of the actual native blockchain coin. And obviously we will have a bridge that is another utility that will tie in our Maxx tokens, offering opportunities for people to arbitrage between our Maxx token once it launches back, on MaxxChain, and also the Ethereum and the BSC Maxx token, but also provides kind of a footprint for any other projects that we're discussing with that may want to actually bridge into our chain when we do go live. So yeah, we can dive into the Maxx token ecosystem, the utilities that are tied into those tokens itself, all the different aspects of them, and then obviously also into the infrastructure of the chain itself and everything we're doing there with regards to the projects and what tools will be available for developers and so forth from day one.
All right, can you go more into the detail now about the Maxx token? What are the utilities for that? And also, if we have time, talk about the PoE token too.
Yeah.
So
Nyan, why don't you give them the rundown on Maxx and our 3 different utilities and how those are connected at this point?
Yeah. So if we just go back a second, we'll remember that Max was originally launched as a token on Palm Chain. So of course, at that time we didn't have we didn't know that where we would end up in a few months' time. So our original plan was to have the 3 token ecosystem and have that within the chain. So once we decided to go on our own chain, we of course wanted to implement all that as to what we had there into the chain and kind of use that as an important piece of the chain for projects and the investors on chain. So now what we did introduce is right now the only token that's live currently is the BSC token, of course, because our mainnet is not live. And we currently have the pre-sale for the ETH token, and then once our main net goes live, we'll have the MaxxChain token go live as well. The initial utility would be the staking platform. For the MaxxChain side, we have the triple reward staking platform. Now, staking platform, in a sense that it's not the normal token staking platforms that you see with other tokens out there. We haven't set aside a supply to fund the staking pools and kind of dilute the supply for holders. How it works is it's a combination of your regular staking platform and a reflection token. In that, there's taxes associated to each of the tokens. That tax revenue will be taken and used to purchase PoW Coin, which is our blockchain coin, and that would be entered into the staking pools themselves. So individuals that own Maxx on whichever platform will stake their Maxx tokens and earn PoW Coin as their rewards based on the volume and tax accumulation within each of those tokens. And in order to combat, we'll touch on the proof of work consensus on the blockchain and the fact that it's inflationary because of the miners. We're also going to have a burn associated to that. So 10% of all the staking amounts are basically staking rewards are going to be used to buy back and burn both the native blockchain coin PoW as well as the Maxx token themselves. So that kind of provides a little bit more of a strength for both the blockchain itself as well as the tokens. Individuals will be able to stake their tokens for 6, 15, and 30-day periods. And of course, the longer you stake, the more you'll earn. And like I said, the APYs will be associated to the tax generated from the volume. Now, on the BSC and ETH side, what makes it a little bit interesting is that we're using that as a platform to kind of get people onto MaxxChain. So when people buy the BSC or ETH token, they'll be staking their BSC or ETH token directly within the D app. But the rewards they receive is going to be the PoW Coin that's native to MaxxChain. So it's not going to be a peg token or anything like that. It's going to be the actual blockchain coin, which we think is a great selling point, as it would reward holders and create new holders of MaxxChain on the other chains instantaneously. And as an added benefit, the taxes accumulated from those sides are actually going to be routed over to our CEX once our PoW Coin is listed, to kind of to purchase PoW in order to fund those pools. So there's a lot of background that goes on here to kind of keep strengthening the chain through the tokens as well. So if you have any, before I move on to the next, I just want to ask if you have any questions on the Maxx token, the staking platform.
No questions on that. I do have a question about the Maxx token though. Since you guys are already on BSC, can you post a chart in chat? And also, are you planning to eventually just migrate them into one, or are you going to keep them on both chains? Will there be any migration to the PoW chain? So what are the plans for the Maxx token?
Yeah, so KP, if you can just shoot over the chart into the chat, and I'll speak on this.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 3 different supplies, basically, then on each of the chains, and the tokenomics are all in the white paper on our website as well. So you're going to have the BSD, ETH, and MaxxChain supplies all independent of each other, but we're going to have a bridge that launches after our mainnet launch. So after our Maxx token is launched on MaxxChain, we'll have all 3 tokens in place, and then the bridge will be in place where people can literally move from chain to chain as they want. There's going to be no penalties or fees associated to that, except for the bridge fee, which is going to be a a small fee that we take on all of our on-chain tools. And basically people will be able to take advantage of our arbitrage opportunities across the chains. And if people just want to move from let's say BSC to MaxxChain in order to, let's say, sell their tokens and come into the MaxxChain ecosystem with all the projects we have there. So we're leaving it open, and we've done a lot of thought and analysis in this in terms of how things would play out in different scenarios, and we're excited to see where this goes, because we think that there's a lot of opportunity here that can keep the volume flowing, so those that stake keep earning rewards, and keep engagement on all three platforms.
Okay, I just got the chart. Okay, it looks fairly steady. So you guys launched April 11th.
Yeah. So
chart over here.
To give a little background on the chart, when we
launch.
So on the BSC side, we did do a fair launch with the soft cap at 50 BNB, and we ended up raising 168. Now, one important aspect here is
I think you cut out.
We had sorry, you got me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So when our pre-sale for BSC started, at that point we were still thought to be a project on PoW Chain, and literally as the pre-sale was going on, that's when all the events had started in terms of PoW moving over to a new chain, putting us in limbo, and so on and so forth. So we had to make a decision on, okay, are we going to keep going with this launch, or what are we going to do? So all these, there were a lot of moving pieces in the background to see what we were, how we were going to move forward with this. And that's when we had decided, let's just start our own chain and move forward with this BSC launch. And I think there was a lot of uncertainty there with the community, because they were not, we always kept the community up to speed with what was going on, but there was always uncertainty as to what was going to happen. So I think that created a little bit of a panic in terms of holders on the BSC side. But as you can see with the chart, we've had some steady movement there, and a lot of people have been fairly receptive of what we're doing. And I think having this at around the 130K market cap as it is right now, I think kind of is still in a fairly low range. And we believe that once we do hit mainnet and all the pieces of the puzzle are together, both the ETH and BSC sides will truly be undervalued, and we'll be able to kind of push those a little bit more based on this ecosystem.
And would you say that the ETH and the BSC side, they should be at the same price? Because you are going to have the swap, right?
We're going the bridge,
yeah.
And that's the beauty of arbitrage here, because when we do launch the ETH side, I mean, you're not gonna be able to bridge the two sides until we come out with the bridge after the third token is launched. Now, once that's launched, we're opening the floodgates to allow the market to become a free market and do what it needs to do. So individuals can move from one side to the other and take advantage of those price differences if there is. And kind of create a level chart among the three sides, and that'll keep playing as the utilities push each individual token on each chain. However, our goal is to keep building MaxxChain as a whole, but we want to keep using the utilities on all three sides. So the utilities, what we have the staking, and then we also have a lot of DApp, which I can touch upon soon, and then KP can touch upon the Ignite QR, the app that utility that we have. And then, at that point, we'll be looking at how we can grow with further utilities. But for now, we're just looking at what we have here and what we're going to do in the short term.
Okay, perfect. So for anyone that doesn't really understand this, you guys need to pay attention, because depending, right, on, you guys have the pre-sale going on right now. So if it fills to 40, what's the estimated market cap if the hard cap's filled?
If you jump over to our white paper, which I think you just had open before, on the ETH raise, I got a table there that kind of gives you different scenarios based
Oh,
on the
95.
raises.
Okay.
So, of course, if we do hit the soft cap of 20, you'll see that the market cap and LP is definitely lower than the BSC side. But we think that, between now and mainnet launch, let's say we do hit the soft cap. Between now and mainnet launch, it'll give enough time for other investors in the community to kind of hopefully even that out. And if they don't, they don't. And when we do open the bridge again, we're going to allow it to be a free market and let it go. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. But we aren't going to be, even though I'm saying we're letting it be allowing free trade in all of this, we're still going to put our efforts in ensuring that there's enough a volume and buys on each side to satisfy the stakers. Because I think on the BSC side right now, I think we have about 20% of the circulating supply in the staking platform, which is a great number to have. Ideally, I want to have more, but it'll grow as it becomes more apparent to the community as to how all this ties into the ecosystem.
Okay, so just if everyone's paying attention, just by today's numbers, if you fill the 40 ETH hard cap, your market cap will roughly be even 30 ETH or so, roughly in the same ballpark as currently on the BSC chain. So once let's say if it launches right and then it goes like 5x or whatever, and then this one doesn't really is not really taking off as much, so there will be a lot of opportunities in the future to like buy the cheaper one and then do the arbitrage until it evens out. And I'm expecting those things only last a couple hours at most. People will be doing arbitrage until the price closes real quickly, so there should be no issues there. All right, so let's move on to the next thing you guys want to talk about, right? You guys, like the next part of the presentation.
Yeah, you want to talk to him, just touch upon the Lotto D app, and then I'll jump in on the Ignite QR, and then we can move to the information about the chain.
Yeah, sure. So the next utility that we actually have, and we've started discussion on this and planning for development, is the Lotto D app, which is called Lotto Maxx. So it's going to work similar to a lottery system like the Powerball in the States, or for those in Canada, Lotto Maxx, coincidentally named the same thing. But basically, any investor here, it doesn't need to be a holder of Maxx or Power even, can just purchase a ticket, and they'll have to select 3 numbers out of 30, and it works like a regular lottery. So we'll have a weekly guaranteed winner with a prize pool that's accumulated from ticket sales and a small percentage from each of the tokens. Now, the proceeds from the ticket sales and the tax collection will be used to purchase Maxx on the MaxxChain side, and that is what it's going to be handed out as the prize pools on a weekly basis. So that's going to create volume for the stakers. And even if the winner decides that they're just going to sell it all, it's still going to create volume. And then as that is happening on the MaxxChain side, of course, that's going to create some ARB opportunities between the ETH and BSC side. So we've looked at different scenarios, like I said before, and with this utility in play, it helps the stakers, it helps the entire ecosystem, as 10% of the winning pools are going to be allocated to buyback and burn, and it's going to keep strengthening the tokens. So that's pretty much the Lotto Maxx utility in a nutshell. There are going to be additional factors that come in the future. We're definitely going to be improving on this as we move forward and adding more aspects to the whole lottery aspect of it. But this is how we're going to start this D app.
All right, and next one is the Ignite QR.
Yes. So the next one that is Ignite QR, and actually it's one that I'm probably the most excited about, because what it does is it solves a huge issue in our space. And since Nine and I have been around for quite some time and have been around a lot of projects, and so you guys have been as well. A lot of the methodology that's utilized right now for community engagement really is just falls flat. Project owners say, hey, here's a tweet, let me see some likes, I'm locking the chat, raid. you know, and it's like, how do you quantify that? Like, how do you actually, as a project owner, how do you actually assess and measure that that is an effective way of utilizing your community, and what are you getting out of it? So it's basically asking people for word of mouth, but you don't know what's really happening out there. What Ignite QR is going to do is it's going to be a full-fledged dashboard that is available for actual projects and also users, investors within that community. So for instance, if a project is signed up with Ignite QR, and they will allocate a you know, an escrow wallet with tokens. It can be whatever they want it to be, BUSD, it can be tokens from their ecosystem. And then when the user logs into the dashboard, they will be able to generate a unique QR code for that specific project. So when the project owner asks, let's go ahead and raid, that individual will take that unique QR code for the project, go out and chill, and actually spread the word as word of mouth. When an individual actually scans that QR code, it will bring them back to the Ignite QR dashboard, which there'll be a universal swapper on there where that will be tied into PancakeSwap, Uniswap, as well as also our own MaxxSwap, depending on where that project is available, you know, for shilling. Because, you know, this is not entirely just tied to MaxxChain. This utility can be transcended across chain. So what happens is the minute that individual decides to get it there to the swapper by, you know, scanning the QR code and makes a purchase of that specific project, then the project owner gets a true new holder, a true new user. But then that individual that actually shared the QR code can engage back into the dashboard and get the rewards that get released out to them. So thus monetizing word of mouth.
Actually, I like that. That's a pretty neat way, yeah, of shilling in a way, I guess. Because doing it all on Telegram, you know, that only could go so far, right? You always have to improve and build on and go with what the current, you know, meta is. So doing that with QR codes, and I think makes it a lot easier, you know, than just like, oh, here's the contract address, or then
Exactly.
people have to know how to like go on PooCoin or, you know, Dex Tools or BSC Scan to check the chart, check the, you know, the contract and all that. So that's
Yeah, I
actually
mean,
pretty cool.
it's yeah, we're really excited about it. I mean, in terms of, it rewards the actual individual that is shilling, but also it helps the project owner get a new true user because they have to purchase on the chart in order for that reward to be released to the original shiller. But also, dashboard is a unique and very powerful tool for the project founder or project owner, because they're able to then navigate and see all the analytics and data for how much shilling is going on and how many QR codes are being generated and how many QR codes are actually being used and actually being purchased, you know. So it's really very informational, and I think it can help many projects, including call groups, including like, I mean, it's not just a service just for projects. It can be used by many different projects, you know, that are not necessarily just that have a token or so forth. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that we're excited about. And it's going to be tied into the ecosystem, and we're going to kind of like you know, offer MaxxChain as like kind of its first sandbox for projects. So like, you know, it's another selling point for us when we're going out to sell the chain to projects. Like, hey, why come build on the chain? And they're like, well, what do you have to offer us? You know, what's available? What tools are available? And I said, well, we have an, you know, engagement tool that can really help ignite your community. And really offer some valuable information to you with regards to your efforts for marketing and for strategizing and how to actually grow your community. So, but yeah, that's one, and we can kind of dive now into the chain itself and all the on-chain infrastructure and utilities that we've already built, and how do we plan on growing it, and we can just touch upon the history with what we're doing with the old PoW chain holders and so forth, and who's coming over, because we already have 7 or 8 old PoW chain projects that are following us to the MaxxChain that are going to redeploy their contracts because we're going to match their LP. And we can also discuss the supply that we're pre-mining and how that's going to get dispersed for power.
Yeah, definitely. I was waiting actually for those questions. So yeah, let's get on to that then. So did you say it's going to be on the MaxxChain, or are they going to be on the PoW chain?
No, it's going to be, it's MaxxChain. So right, MaxxChain with PowerCoin.
Okay, okay, okay.
No, yeah, PowerCoin is the native coin, blockchain coin for the actual for MaxxChain. So, but what we did is obviously, when we were trying to take over the old Palm chain, and we had a huge community, within our Maxx token when we were listed on, on Palm. I mean, a lot of people rallied behind us. I mean, not everybody. There's theoretically 5,000 wallet holders of Palm, and we only had about 250, 280 holders in Maxx for the short time that we were there, but they were still strong holders, and they really supported us tremendously. So we have taken snapshots of our holders that were previously in Maxx. We've taken snapshots of the 8 projects and developers that are planning to move their projects from the old Palm chain over to MaxxChain and redeploy their contracts, and give the opportunity for all those investors that were left in the dust to maybe reestablish their positions, that they had within those projects. They didn't do anything wrong. They invested in developers that came to Palm chain and they liked what they were doing, and the chain itself decided to move on, and including investors and us as the project owners were just kind of left in limbo. So we felt that it's important that when we relaunch our chain, a lot of things that we see in terms of a lot of other blockchain projects, right, that launch on BSC with their token and then say, okay, mainnet is coming, and then mainnet goes live. But then there's nothing. There's no swap, there's no bridge, there's no projects, nobody's building. It's just the mainnet sitting there doing nothing. What we're going to do is when we actually go live, we're already going to have a community. We're already going to have projects that are going to relaunch. We already have developers that want to build or redeploy. Whereas the other projects that we're talking to that are excited that we're actually leading into a new chain and would be interested in bridging over by using our bridge or actually come and build on our chain. We're talking with mining pools that we have connected with that are going to actually, open up their mining pools from day one when we go live so they can secure the network. Miners hooking up into increasing the hash rate and providing that security. We're in discussions with other stakeholders that we want to ensure from day one, like DEX tools, for instance. We want our chain to actually be available on day one on DEX tools when projects start launching. So then, you can see your top 10 or your trending coins and you can see a chart and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot, and including, we did take a snapshot of all the old Palm holders. We knew that not every single holder is going to claim, because we are offering a one-on-one to the PowerCoin to the old Palm holders, but we do have some rules in terms of claiming and who's going to claim and whatnot. But we're seeing a big picture now of actually who actually was active, and what that supply may look like for claiming. So, but we can run through those tokenomics on how the actual supply is available. So, Don, you want to do that?
Yeah, so to touch on the tokenomics the coin allocation for Power. Hold on a second. Yeah, there you go. You got it up there. So currently, I think KP was mentioning this a little bit, but we're gonna be minting 1 billion supply. So that's gonna be the original minted supply, and of course, as mentioned before, proof of work mechanisms. So that means consensus. So that means there's going to be miners that mine the blockchain coin, and we did finalize that they're going to be mining at 5 coins per block. That's a reduction of what Palm chain was previously at 9 coins per block. To combat this, we're going to have most of all of our on-chain utilities for MaxxChain are going to help in creating burn of the Power coin. So that's going to help combat that and keep the supply stable. So of the 1 billion that's going to be minted, we have 100 million that's going to be going up for pre-sale. Our pre-sale is going to start shortly after the ETH pre-sale and launch, and we'll dive into that a little bit just after. We have 270 million that's going to be burned right off the bat. And we have approximately about 150 million that's going to be going. That's going to be kept as treasury. These are going to be used for CEX listings and so on and so forth. And then we also have the airdrop that's about 420 million. So now, KP was touching on this before. 420 million from the previous Palm chain holders. Now, what we have right now is we put up a form on our Telegram group for any previous holders to fill out, and they have a 1 week time frame to do so if they want to be eligible for the claims dashboard that we put up in terms of getting their power airdrop, which will be 1-to-1 for their Palm. So we're anticipating that, you know, not many know about MaxxChain and what we're doing here. So there may be a lot that actually don't claim. We'll see how that kind of plays out, and whatever does not get claimed is going to be used towards is going to be used and sent to the burn wallet, reducing the population even further.
Yeah,
So,
as of right now, that form's been up for 1 day. A lot of activity came in right away, and it's right now about 130 million so far out of that 400 and so million is eligible for claiming. I mean, if I had to take a guess, it's probably going to be less than 50%. So I would not be surprised if more than 50% of that actual snapshot supply ends up getting burnt along with the initial 270 million coins that we're burning from the beginning.
Okay, so I guess my concern is this huge airdrop for the Palm holders, and that was from the V1 Palm holders. So I know you guys are migrating, and that community is essentially coming with you, right? But isn't this mean that they're basically getting free tokens?
basically, and I mean, look, so KP, I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, so what I was going to touch upon is that, look, you know, we could have easily started MaxxChain fresh without even doing that, you know, providing this, I guess, benefit to all the old holders. And I mean, we were put in the same situation that they were put in a couple weeks back when, you know, Palm had decided to start a new chain and kind of brought all their wallets down to zero in terms of value. But, you know, our goal was always to be, you know, community oriented and help bring more value to the chain. And for us, we feel like, you know, this community deserves better. And for us, that's kind of like an olive branch of what we're doing and setting out for them to help them, you know, make a value of their bags again. And I know, you know, a lot of people might see this as a negative aspect, thinking, you know, these guys, you're just basically handing them something in which you don't have to. But, you know, for us, it's a little bit of goodwill, and it's a little bit of hope and support that, you know, they're going to see what we're building here and want to build with us, because all these guys, I guarantee you, for the most part, are down 99% on their original investment. So, you know, for us, we're going to be picking up basically around the same prices where Palm had left off, and we're not going to be shooting for the stars right out of the gate. We're going to be smart about this. We're going to be launching the entire chain at well under $1 million market cap, and we're going to grow from the bottom up. You know, so the individuals there that do get that airdrop, you know, if they want to sell and get out, that's entirely up to them. But we do believe we have a strong holder base that will grow with us, and, you know, supporting them means that they'll be there to support the projects that come on chain. You know, KP mentioned we have 7 projects that are coming with us and launching at the start. I mean, not a lot of blockchain projects that are building a blockchain have the opportunity to do what we're doing with the community, with the projects on hand, with the utilities that the projects are building. I mean, we're utilizing what utilities they came out with in the prior chain that were completely underutilized and not even looked at. You know, we have a launch pad through one of the project spaces that's being rebranded as MaxxChain, and we're using that as the premier launch pad on chain that's by one of the other projects on chain. So we're trying to create synergies here with the projects as well as the communities, and that's kind of what we're trying to show forth for any project or investor that wants to come on chain.
Well, I will also say this from a psychological perspective, because, you know, as you said, you weren't really in Palm chain, and we really were living and breathing that pretty much every day, and all the curveballs thrown at us. But we saw the community sentiment, right? And the community sentiment was very much like, how do I not how can I not support this chain anymore? I don't want to support the chain anymore. I want to support something that's different. And that's what we're offering here for a lot of these individuals. And that sentiment has quite changed, because a lot of the people that are in our Maxx ecosystem right now in our Telegram group are those OG palm holders that actually do love what we're doing here. They see a new bright day, a new direction, a new team that's transparent, that's organized, that's delivering, that's executing, that is basically not leaving anything unturned. So we feel like, yes, there is an airdrop out there. Yes, there's an amount of people that are going to claim, but we feel like the individuals that are claiming are also individuals that do want to continue maybe with a long-term mindset now that they see that this is not palm chain anymore and this is something totally different. And honestly, it can be seen as free or not, but in their mind, they're receiving whatever they bought on palm, because there is no new palm yet. And they are all still at a significant loss, 99% down. You know, I mean, even me as a personal investor that was in palm, and my personal bag is 99% down. I mean, I'm not selling, you know what I mean? Personally, as an individual, if I have to put myself in their shoes. So, you know, that's why we're not overvaluing the actual launch of PowerCoin. We're going to launch it at undervalued opportunity for a stable floor, and then to build up, rather than inflate a market cap of $300 million blockchain and then let it tank. Because A, it provides ability for growth for projects. See what's going on. The biggest issue that palm chain had is that it overvalued its market cap. So when a lot of projects came in and they started buying palm out on the CX at 10 cents and 8 cents for their LP, right, to bring it on chain and launch their project, they probably had no idea that there was an anticipation of a continued sell-off from 8-10 cents all the way down to basically another 99%, which in fact screwed their project up and their chart, because they had to withstand that sell pressure of that entire native coin. Same thing is happening with a few projects that decided at that time to leave and go try their luck in CoreDAO. CoreDAO, I just had a project, CoreDAO, that the owner said to me, I'm in the same boat I am as I was with Palm. I came to CoreDAO, I bought CoreDAO at $4.50. I'm sitting here now under $1, and my chart is tanking because not my investors, but because of the actual CoreDAO coin going down so much. So that's why we are going to be level-headed, and we're launching basically at, if you consider the burn, let's say that 200 million coins get burnt or more, along with the 270. So say half the supply is burnt, and we're launching at 0.001, which is basically as close as possible to where the last price of Palm was left before it delisted. It's going to be basically a valuation of almost $600,000 market cap. So anybody,
okay, so
as a project comes in to buy LP, will have opportunity to grow with the price.
So has the snapshot been already taken?
Yes, the snapshot was taken back on April 17th at 7 p.m.
So the price of pre-sale compared to all this, would it be based on what the price of the snapshot was at the time?
No, we're offering a better opportunity for the pre-sale price. So the listing price will be 0.001, and the pre-sale price will be 0.0008. So you're getting a 20% discount on it.
No, I meant like, because you were saying you're matching 1-to-1, I think, for the previous V1 holders and the airdrop. So how is the Palm price look compared to what the pre-sale price will be?
Yeah, the last traded price for Palm was 0.0007, and our pre-sale price for the 100 million tokens coins that we're offering in our pre-sale is going to be 0.0008. And then the listing price of the actual Power coin on the CX will start at 0.001.
Okay, has the price went down on Palm, or did it stop trading? Because I mean, I'm not really familiar with Palm.
So when they announced they're moving to a new chain, the price of Palm was at 0.001, and there was literally $500 worth of buy orders against almost almost $180,000 in sell orders. There was no liquidity to sell into, and it just tanked, from 0.001 to 0.007, and that was the final listing the final closing trading price before it was delisted from Maxx.
Oh, I see. Okay, so these guys that were holding the palm, they're getting the airdrop. They were not even able to sell the palm.
Nobody was able to sell and nobody was buying because they already
Okay.
announced, like I was watching it at that point, and I can tell you, like, a lot of people moved their palm holdings to the exchange to try to sell, but there was no liquidity to sell into because there was no market making, and then there was only like $500 worth of buy limit of limit orders that were put on the exchange at even a lesser price than that, like than when it stopped delisted. So we're pretty confident that there was really not many people, or if not any people, that bought anything in terms of where we're offering our pre-sale price in comparison for PowerCoin.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking maybe if they were gonna double dip, if they're gonna basically get the airdrop and then sell their palm and then get the free tokens. But
No,
you're saying,
there is no POM right now. POM is worth zero. Anybody, you can't even see it in your wallet anymore. And you know, the new POM chain, you're supposed to receive your coins there, but that's all totally different. Now it's vested, and now they burnt 90% of the supply, and now you're not even getting all your allocations, and you have to wait 1 year to receive all your POM. So I mean, and that's not even happening yet. There's still no dashboard. There's still no activity on the chain over there. There's not really much going on over there. So all the, the holders pretty much, their only opportunity for reestablishing a position and maybe having some faith that they're, invested in something different is pretty much us. And, like I said, there's really not that many. I mean, out of the 5,000 wallets that we actually snapshotted right now, it's only about 200 to 300 so far that have confirmed claiming, moving over to, receive their actual power coin.
200,
and it's
approximately.
Yeah.
what would be the
200.
value
So
of this for 26 million?
the value of the 426 million?
Yeah, at the time of launch.
At a 0.001, what is that? 426,000.
426,000.
426K? Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. And the
But
pre-sale
right now,
is only going
as
to
it
be
stands
100K.
right now, the pre-sale is going to be 100 million.
Yeah, 100 million power coins. At a discounted rate of 20%, 0.008 for those pre-sales.
All right, so I see. So basically, as long as people are thinking, okay, I mean, obviously, the palm was at rock bottom at that point, right, when the snapshot happened anyway. So as long as people
but remember, one thing to remember is that we're going to be funding the CEX with the coin as well as the LP at that time, and then trading will commence on the CEX. But now people that are looking to sell, let's just say if there's a big sell off. I mean, again, a lot of these guys are 99% down. And it really dictates. It's going to be dictated based on what the buyers are going to be doing, because we do have projects that are interested that are looking to launch on MaxxChain, which we're going to commence conversations with closer to mainnet launch. So we're going to have these guys coming in with their communities, purchasing LPs. So we believe we'll have enough to combat that, if not surpass that. And I really believe that once people do see and see how things are going to play out, they'll see that there's going to be a lot more benefit, considering we're going to be launching at around a 500K market cap for an entire comprehensive blockchain that has everything ready to go at launch. And as it stands right now, like KP was mentioning, we've got about 200 wallets that have confirmed claiming, and that's amounting to about 130 million of the 420 million so far. So
so this is the max. This is if everyone claims.
That's if every single person claims, which we highly believe won't happen. Like
whatever's not claimed is being sent to the burn wallet. And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't see it. I see under 200 million most likely. I mean, if I had to take a guess. So.
Okay. See, I'm not really worried about it like dipping, because these guys are 99% down. It's more of an issue of resistance, in a chart. If all these guys are holding, it'll be harder to push the price up, because people will be like, as soon as they break even, or as soon as they, maybe double from launch, there's a lot of tokens. That's the thing. Like, this is a lot of tokens that could be sold to resist the, if it goes 100x, all these guys are going to be up 100x from launch. So, you know what I mean?
And
It's just,
if it goes 100x, I don't see people holding until it gets to 100x. And that's the truth of it. We're not gonna hope that every single person holds to that point. And as we move along, as we see 2, 3x and keep going up slowly, people are going to start selling their bags, which is perfectly fine. And it's up to us to ensure that more projects keep coming in to purchase LP and bring in their communities that purchase it. And that's why we have, utilities such as a staking platform that's going to be used consistently, through the taxes on the BSC and ETH side, that's going to be used consistently to purchase power on the CEX. So we're going to have, things in place that help create buying power on the CEX consistently.
okay. And also this project LP migration, is that's the tokens from the previous projects?
Those are the previous projects. Yeah, we're matching their LP that they had when trading stopped on the DEX, on the So
okay. Yeah, so what we did there was we took snapshots of each of all the holders for each of those projects. I've already provided it to each of the project owners. And what we'll be doing is we'll be matching their LP as to what it was previously, and it'll be up to the projects if they want to rebrand a little bit and maybe change around their tokenomics and change things that they want to do. Of course, advise their communities that they're doing so, and they can relaunch using the LP we had provided. And if they want to add to it, they're more than welcome to. So, that's entirely up to them.
Okay, I guess that's fine, because I feel like it could definitely work out for the better, because these guys are, like you said, basically they're getting free tokens, but that would encourage. But basically, you don't have to build a community from scratch anymore, right? The community already exists, so that's like a trade-off.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
We wouldn't be here if it weren't for that community, right? So the ones that are supporting, if I had to take a good guess, the ones that are supporting, because a lot of this information was only shared within our Maxx community, it was not really shared within the PoW community. And all the people within our Maxx community already were supportive. They took our chart from 20K up to 1.8 million, like over 100x or whatever X that is, and they still held it there. They never sold. We had like 60% of our holder base of Maxx token staked and restaked. So we feel like we have a pretty strong holder base. At least the ones that were invested in us, they were not in it. They were in it for more of a long-term mindset. They were pretty strong hands. And I feel like the ones that are claiming, for power from their old PoW are those same individuals.
Okay.
And they had every chance to sell at 60% down, 70% down, 80% down, 90% down, but they rode PoW to the dust. Pretty much just the same way I did.
Yeah, and would you say they were also big PoW investors, or they're mainly just stuck in PoW just because the Maxx was in PoW with the LP?
Well, we did have, when we launched Maxx, KP and myself came from the BSC side. So we had a lot of, contacts and friends that we made in that space. So we did get a lot of support from others that were outside of PoW chain. And like I said initially, our goal was to bring awareness to that chain. So by doing that, we brought in a lot of new holders. So a lot of these guys were supporting us regardless, and helped us, hold the floor, and they continue to do so now. And that helped a lot. But then, the community themselves saw what we were doing and wanted to support, and that's what helped us grow.
And the launch for that is estimated to be in June, right? And for this one, for Maxx.
Yeah, so the ETH token is currently pre-sale is live right now, and pre-sale is running until Friday. So we have the soft cap at 20 ETH and hard cap at 40 ETH, like we spoke of before. And then that's going to launch with the staking platform immediately. So individuals can stake. So how the staking platform works right now, because mainnet isn't launched, individuals can stake their tokens on the BSC or ETH sides, and they'll earn power. It's a power dummy token, so it's power PWRD, and basically that will be airdropped 1-for-1 to these holders. The second that mainnet launches and the CEX is listed, we'll be using the staking reward, the staking taxes to purchase power and airdrop all these holders.
Yeah, this was just an easy way for us to offer staking to early, staking to earn power coin for early stakers on BSC and Ethereum, rather than have them wait until mainnet. So that way they can just earn the power dummy token. And when the mainnet does go live, we can airdrop their power coins. And then at that same time, we'll switch out the dummy token with the actual power coin. So the stakers then from there and on will continue being staked, and then they can just earn the actual coin, the actual blockchain coin itself.
All right, so let's go wrap it up with this token. The Maxx, what's going on right now currently. So we have the Maxx pre-sale. First of all, you guys screwed up. You guys didn't have the referral commission here. You don't have the Seifu badge, and you don't have Pepe in your name.
So you know what? What's funny is that
tell them about the referral thing.
So the referral thing, if you look back to because you can go back and look at our BSC pre-sale. I initially put that in the BSC pre-sale and thought that was a great idea. Now, what I disagreed with, which is why I didn't put it on the ETH pre-sale, is that you can have a huge pre-sale of, let's say, 500 BNB, and you can have somebody that refers, maybe you'll have the total referral amount of maybe 20 BNB, which is a small percentage of that, but the rewards that they get is based on your total raise, which I was completely against, and I thought that was actually really stupid on PinkSale's part. So we have a group with them, with a couple of guys from PinkSale, and I advise them, this does not make sense. I understand giving people rewards based on the buys that they create, but to give them a percentage of the entire raise just doesn't make sense. So there was no way I was going to do that again. Unless
so does that mean that the percentage for all the rewards goes lower, that the higher the raises, or does it go higher?
The percentage of the rewards, the percentage of the rewards is based on what people have referred, but let's say if you referred 10 BNB worth of buys, right? You would think that the person that did the referral would get the rewards based on those 10 BNB because he only referred 10 BNB worth of buys. But now, if the total raise was 1,000 BNB, he's going to get that percentage on the 1,000 BNB, which does not make sense. And if you take a look at, their documentation, that's how it explains it. And if you take a look at the previous Maxx pre-sale that we had on BSC last month, you'll see that as well. So that's the only reason why I did not include that. I will not include that on any future race if I ever have another one, because of the way it's set up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was just a joke, anyways. But
I wanted to kind of raise that because I found that really, really stupid, and don't understand why they would have it set up that way. But anyways,
we have our reservations with Pink. So it's not our choice of platform to go launch on, but we know it gets a lot of eyes, and of course, we decided that on why to do it. I mean, if we had a better, more trafficy platform, and obviously with all the Pepper stuff that's going on, and you never know with these 10,000 BNB raises and all that stuff, what's real, what's not real. But obviously, it is gaining a lot of traffic. So obviously, it would be nice to trend on there, and then perhaps get clicks, and offer people the opportunity to at least do some research on us and investigate it. But yeah, I mean, PinkSale is it's PinkSale.
So basically, you were saying, I'm just trying to figure out. So basically, if I refer 10 people or 10 BNB on a 200 BNB raise, I'd get a smaller reward than if it was 10 BNB on a 2,000 BNB raise.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh, yeah, that doesn't make sense. So that encourages them. It kind of like the whole system about them, their own marketing team, really behind all these, scam meme tokens, and they're the ones raising the pre-sale themselves and using their own referral codes to kind of get back that 10% that they're probably going to lose from insta selling.
That's exactly my point. And you know what? And I even thought about that. Like maybe I should have done that just to entice some sales. So fine, these guys refer, they'll take from the top cut. But you know what? We'll get some more buys in it. But that I just didn't find that right at all. And I mean, it
Yeah,
was
I
very
think it's
apparent.
definitely very shady.
Yeah, I took a look at the percentages instantly, and I mean, look, like I said, I'm an accountant. I'm looking at all these numbers, and the second that didn't, add up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And there was absolutely no, no remorse over it. And they're like, oh, that's fine. And I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about pink sale too much, but I will say one more thing. Do you guys remember the subscription sales they had? And they were literally using that as, oh, look, we have 10,000 BNB, or we have whales of 15, 20,000 BNB that, actually, obviously they're not going to buy 20,000 BNB because subscription. So that really didn't work too well. So what they're doing now with the whole referral and this huge raises and all these meme coins, that's literally the next thing they're trying to do to continue having eyes on them to stay relevant. They're basically raising these pre-sales themselves, giving themselves the referral, the commissions, all that. So, and that's why you see all these dumps. I mean, usually the first couple do really well, like POV did like 15x, and then the next one, 10,000 BNB raised, and it literally dumped out the gate. All of the other ones that followed literally dumped out the gate, and there's a reason why they're dumping. It's not the actual investors selling. It's the pink sale marketer team trying to get their funds back, creating the dump initially so they could go back in and either buy the dip and pump it one more time and do the marketing after like half the people sell. It's just very scammy, or what they're doing.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, moving on. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not really a big fan. I mean, I'll invest, I'll make my money, but I know like 95% of all their projects on there are just farms.
Look, again, last point here, but the truth is, we wanted the most eyes on this, and PinkCell wouldn't have been our first choice, but unfortunately, it is. And
yeah, I mean, I don't
well for our first. We had 50 BNB soft cap, and we had a fair launch there, and it went up to 168. And I know that a lot of it, of course, had to do with us and what we did and what we put together, but at the same time, I'm sure a lot of new eyes got onto Maxx because of that, and it's hard to quantify that.
Yeah, I know you guys are legit for those 3 reasons that I named, actually. Because there's no safety badge, because there's no referral commission. I mean, literally, like, those things are supposed to make it safer for their projects. What they're actually doing is literally what's exposing exactly what each project is. If it's a Pepe meme token with a safety badge and referral commission, then for a fact 99% chance that it's the pink sale team, the pink sale marketer team behind that project. Because those meme tokens, you don't need devs, right? Marketing is all it is. It's just the meme token. You just don't, like what you guys have created, blockchain, all these utilities, the MaxxChain, the POV token, all these things, they don't have any of that stuff. It's really easy to create a token with, with 200 lines of code and no write commands and, 5 read commands that half of these
you don't
projects
even need
are
200
doing.
lines of code these days.
Yeah, well, literally the most basic one, I think, goes like 200 lines of code. It's just, there's only 2 things you have to change. The one line that you have to change to fork it or create the new. Basically, the name and the name of the ticker and the supply if you wanted to. So it's the most basic, most laziest way of launching projects. There's really nothing. And then they claim, oh, we're just the marketers. The devs are someone else. I mean, give me a break. There are no devs. The marketers are the devs. They own the project. That's why you see this 10,000 BNB raises and then it just goes to shit. Anyways, moving on. All right, so you guys have almost 2 more days left. It's 3.7 ETH out of 40, and a lot of times, of course, it picks up at the end. So my question is, what happens if, like, let's say it doesn't meet the soft cap? Are you guys gonna do like a relaunch, or now what are the
So,
plans?
I mean, look, KP and myself, we've always thought of contingency plans from day one. And I mean, I think we've gone through every contingency plan possible up until now, considering we're at a point where we're building our own blockchain, which is something we didn't think of, as of day one. So, yeah, we've thought about the possibilities and what we can do. I mean, I don't want to really, publicize what we're thinking of just yet, but know that, this, if we don't hit soft cap at the very least, we do move forward, and we do have, ideas on what we're going to do to mitigate the issue here of not launching on the ETH side. So, of course, depending on how that plays out, we'll come out with the community and advise.
Yeah, I mean, there's always options to do a more of a community raise, within or something like that. I mean, obviously, stealth launching wouldn't be something that I would be entirely, what do you call it, like favored towards, just because we need to make sure. Well, I mean, our contract's pretty ironclad. It's got anti-bot and everything at the beginning and so forth. But with what we've seen lately with Jared sandwiching everybody, which I just got sandwiched in a meme coin that I decided to fall for. We want to make sure we avoid those measures where somebody can snipe us and come in and do a crazy amount of supply right off the bat and everything like that, and then it just hurts the rest of the investors. So, we'll regroup if it doesn't hit soft cap. I mean, we do have some pretty big AMAs coming towards the end of the week with some pretty big rooms. So at the very least, I hope that we do hit soft cap. I think what's also not helping, because I do know of a lot of people that do intend to get in, but they're just waiting for the gas to subside a little bit. I mean, somebody just sent me a screenshot. They were going to send in one ETH, but they said they're going to hold off for a minute because it was $221 in gas. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, that's probably not helping a little bit, but I do know of a lot of people on the sidelines that are gonna just kind of run these 2 days as long as they can and try to find their opportunity when gas is a little bit lower. But yes, I mean, obviously, it's not like the end if it doesn't hit it. We'll just have to regroup, reorganize as we always have. I mean, we already pivoted from being a token on a chain to trying to take over chain, to now moving on to our own chain. So if just the token that we're looking to launch does not actually meet the soft cap, doesn't mean that we're just stopping here.
And to touch on the gas fees a little bit, I just to let you know, when we deployed the ETH contract and all the gas associated to changing the contracts and stuff for the pre-sale, we spent $2,800 for just that. So, it's a very expensive, adventure right now onto the ETH side. But we also do know that, if we do catch a break on the ETH side, it could really jump up because people are definitely willing to spend money if they're willing to spend that gas.
Yeah, I definitely, I agree with you. The gas is just crazy. So what about, why don't you guys think about doing the some of the other chains?
I mean, we thought about it, and initially, even when we were back on PoW Chain, we were like, why don't we just do, BSC, ETH, and Arbitrum, for example? And the options are always open on the table, but we don't want to fill our plate too much. We want to be a little bit realistic here, and at the same time, if we look at other launches, we don't want to make communities feel like we're neglecting them, because that's absolutely not what we're doing. What we're doing is, everything we do has a place in the system and has a place in the ecosystem, and they all have their job to do, and we're going to put equal effort amongst all of it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I have one more question about this. So that 20% that's unlocked, that's, I believe, is somewhere I've seen in here.
Yeah, the full tokenomics are listed there. Again, what we had mentioned, and what's part of the unlocked is the 100 million for
Ignite
the
QR.
Ignite QR. That I was going to lock it, but it was going to cost me $300 or something in gas just to lock the tokens for 30 days. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend $300 just to do that.
So this is the marketing, basically what's in the white paper, the marketing team wallet, that's 20%. So 10,
200.
so 200,000, which is about 20%. So that's kind of half of this is the Ignite QR, and the other half is basically marketing and team wallet, right?
Yeah.
And the
So
reason you guys did invested is because of the gas fees.
exactly. That's the only reason why we didn't do it. Or else, honestly, I was ready to do it, and it was about, it was over $300 just to do the lock. So imagine what, we'd have to spend half an ETH just to lock and unlock that token amount. And I mean, you know, we're building so much here that I feel like we've earned a little bit of you know trust within the community as to what we're doing and how we're doing it here. And we'll take it as we move forward. And in terms of that being listed as a team/marketing wallet, it's more of a marketing wallet. We're not taking any allocations from that for the team per se. We have our original allocations that we had from the PoW chain side that we're going to continue to have on the MaxxChain side when that does launch. But as for actual team tokens, nothing is actually being distributed for the team to hold out of that. It's all going to be for marketing purposes.
Okay, so that's a good thing to point out, that there's no like actual free community tokens on this one. I mean, other than marketing, because you probably spend on marketing. And the POV, that one is the one that's getting the big airdrop at launch. But this one is just basically, like you said, it's just for the utilities and for marketing. So another thing is about the liquidity percent, 51%. What are you guys going to spend the other, since you do have a marketing, tokens, what will be, what is the liquidity percent? It's fairly low because now I guess standard right now is like 60% or so, 70, 60%.
So we did the same thing on the BSC side, but now you got to remember that here that, we've also self-funded a lot for what we're doing here. But, if you look at all the costs associated to one of these launches, all the marketing and the AMAs that we're doing, plus the building of the blockchain and all the on-chain utilities, all of this ties into that. And we've really squeezed every penny out of every dollar and been frugal in terms of our expenditures. Now, I've been keeping a log of every penny spent since this venture had started, of course, as the accountant in me. And that's something I'm going to share with the community to show where every dollar has been spent. So it's not going to be, hidden to say, okay, well, this just been sent to this wallet. What happened with that? I don't want there to be an opportunity for the community to come out and be like, oh, we're following the marketing wallet and it's doing this, it's doing that. No, I'm going to be very transparent with every dollar and how it's spent, how it's been spent. Now, have I released that to the community yet? Not just yet. I feel like, we've explained ourselves quite well, but I've been keeping track of every dollar. So when it comes down to it and I start sharing this information with the community, it's going to be very transparent as to where every dollar has gone from this project.
Right. And it's important to also point that a lot of expenditure has also come from our own pockets, in addition to what we raised in the BNB pre-raise. So we are invested in our own project. So there's skin in the game, which just bolsters our position and commitment to trying to push this to succeed. There's a lot of passion behind it with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And there's also a lot of money that's tied into it that's personal. So obviously, it's not all about just, creating a raise and trying to use only community funds, from those raises. But they are important to further the project as long as we're transparent with how they are utilized and how they are actually providing progress within the project that they're invested in. And also how they're providing, how that the expenditure is spent, and what kind of return are we getting out of it, And in this case, well, the website you see, and you can tell this is not kind of a run-of-the-mill crypto website. And then obviously all the utilities and everything you see, from a swap to pools to farms to bridges to the block explorer to actually building the core chain, development behind the scenes for mainnet. All that stuff comes at a cost, and even though we've been really methodical with it, I think we've done a phenomenal job with the amount of actual capital that we have put in ourselves, including the capital we raised to get us to this point, all within 2.5, 3 weeks.
And I'd like to add that there's no VC funding behind any of this, right? This is all completely what we have done, self-funding plus the raises themselves, right? So
All right, so I have one more question. I mean, I have like a ton more questions, but we gotta like wrap it up. We don't have enough time for this AMA, honestly,
It's
because I have
okay.
like a million other questions. But
Every
I
other
have one.
AMA we've done has been 2 hours.
Yeah, like we do have an AMA. That's the thing. We have an AMA in about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I would honestly, if we had more time, I would continue. But we still have a little bit of time. So the big thing that I'm curious about, it's not even anything about investing, about the project. Main thing is, how did you guys manage to accomplish this? Did you hire all these utilities, everything? Are you doing them yourself, or do you like hire developers that you're paying out of pocket? Because this is a lot of work, creating your own blockchain. Most developers in here, they don't even know how to copy and paste Solidity code.
So we have an
Um,
amazing developer that we have brought in-house, and he is as committed and invested in this project as much as we are. He is no longer a paid developer, a pay for hired developer. Obviously, we've ensured that we want individuals that share the same vision that we have. But then, that's that's the difference between, for instance, and I'm not trying to pat myself here on my back, but my bread and butter is business development, negotiations. That's what I do in the real world with multi-billion-dollar organizations. And it's all about figuring out how to attain resources at the best possible cost in order for you to further whatever outcome you want. And that's what we have applied here. So through our networks and through our relationships and through selling a vision and what we're trying to accomplish and ensuring that individuals are on board and share the same kind of fabric of how we work and how hard what effort we put into this. That's pretty much why you see what you see in front of you. So, and it's taken day and night for the last 2.5 weeks.
So you
and
have
something else I'll share to the community. What I do, I mean, and this is how I kind of do things. Is I like to keep things kind of very very organized in a sense. So I have a chart with all high level tasks, and I release that to the community, updated on a weekly basis, just to show what we've done, where we're at, and what's coming. So that kind of keeps us on our toes to make sure we're touching every point possible. I mean, KP and myself have we put ourselves into every task that we have, and we have subgroups of individuals that help us on each task. But we make sure everything is moving along as it should, and that's kind of helped us get where we are now.
Yeah, and I mean it crosses not just for development, but for legal too. I mean, we haven't mentioned this, but I mean, Maxx Crypto LLC is now a legitimate incorporated company in the state of Florida with its own tax ID number and everything. So, I mean, this is a legitimate business that we are going to, that we're running.
honestly, guys, I think I know your issue. It's basically what you said. Because check out what honestly, the gas right now, I was just looking at the contribution, and it's like $82 just to invest in the pre-sale right now.
Yeah,
Crazy
and
ETH price.
unfortunately, this might be a factor that and it's not necessarily the lack of hype, but the ETH factor that's really hurting us right now. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out over the next couple of days while our pre-sale is live, and make a decision to see, okay, do we wait until this kind of dies down a bit before we restart again, or take another path here. So KP and myself are going to continue discussing, as we do every day, to see what works best here. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, I'll DM you because I can't forward any screenshots to the chat, but I'll send you a DM of our timeline so you can see what I was just referring to.
I was about to just drop one ETH, and then it's like $82 in gas. I'm just gonna, because I wanted to get this going for you guys. I like what you guys have done so far. So I'll probably just wait a bit.
Yeah, which is what we've heard from multiple people. So, but look, I mean, in the end of the day, we feel like there's a the risk reward here is there's a good opportunity with how we've set everything up. I mean, we're not over evaluating ourselves. We want to start organic. We're positioning ourselves as a long-term hold. We're not interested in trying to attract attract any kind of like pump and dump, type of callers and whatnot and all that stuff. And, we really want good, true investors that view us more of as a long-term hold and rather than just like a quick get out type of opportunity.
Oh, wow. Then you came to the right community because I've been, for the last a year and a half, I've been training these guys how not to, not pump and dump, find the good projects, find the long-term holds. I mean, we're in projects that we have, we were holding projects for like 2 years, some of these projects in our community. So this is definitely the kind of project we like. The one where you could just go buy it, set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about, being in Telegram every day to see if they're gonna, if they're gonna relaunch and you gotta send tokens in and then you miss it and then you miss out, all the bullshit that's going on. Like honestly, I feel like I want to just buy the project and hold it and not worry about it. That's the kind of investment I like to do.
Well, we share that same sentiment. So, I mean, in the end of the day, one thing that is definitely going to stay true is Nyan and I are going to still be here day in, day out, still working and still, trying to get everything on the timeline and the roadmap and everything out there. So, I mean, I think it's important to note that the reason why we're doing all this so upfront with mainnet is because once we launch mainnet, I don't want to be developing anything for infrastructure for the chain. I don't want to be developing a swap and a this and a that and all that stuff. All that stuff should be there. I would rather than focus on actually business development, which is engaging and selling to project owners and other developers outside of this chain to come and build on this chain, show what we're to have, and then allow them to come and create competition. Because, you go to some of the big chains, right? Some of the bigger ones in the top 10, top 20, and you'll see, their websites, you'll see over 500 DApps, over 1,000 projects, and there's front and center right there. We want more people to come and build swaps and build bridges and build all cool stuff and farming and yields and offering more value to the chain itself, because the economic activity that we can create within the chain is then in turn creating buy pressure for Power Coin, since it's the coin that you require to transact anywhere on the chain. So, and I will say that we also are talking to, an NFT marketplace that we'll be launching in the summertime that I think is going to rival Blur and OpenSea, because it is looking damn good, that are looking to put us on as a native coin for people to be able to trade their NFTs there. We already have another project that has its own wallet, wallet on Android and iOS out there on the Apple Store. They are already integrating and including us in their wallet as a native coin. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on behind the scenes, not just like the actual like utilities and stuff like that, but we want to keep building by engaging those relationships and bringing those important projects on chain to build.
All right, perfect. Okay, so let's give a couple minutes, guys, for the community to have, if they have any questions. Now's the time. I know we covered a lot, and honestly, there's like probably 80% more questions that I have that I didn't have the time to get to. So I want to give the community a chance. Do they have any questions? So honestly, I feel like the biggest issue here right now is just like you said, the ETH gas, especially guys that want to contribute, smaller amounts. It's not even worth it, right? I mean, it costs like 0.04 ETH in gas, and minimum buy is 0.02.
Yeah, when we did that, I mean, I wasn't that was what we had set in place prior to, and looking at the ETH cost at the time, it didn't make sense, but still stuck it in case things subsided. But we'll see how things roll over the next couple of days.
Yeah, we as a community were kind of like not really anti-ETH, but we didn't really focus on it as much because of the high gas fees from before, and a lot of the guys here that have smaller accounts. I mean, we have both sides of the spectrum, but some of them they would only invest like $50 or whatever into a BC project, $100. So now then gas prices lowered, right? It was really great for a while, and then in the last month or so, it's back to being
since
huge
Pepe,
again.
right? It's all because of Pepe.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think I mean, I know it's hard for some people to see it this way, but us with what we're doing with the entire chain and how we're going to grow, I mean, I still see this as a very low market cap considering what we're going to be introducing as we move forward. I mean, starting this at 100, 150K market cap at most, I feel like has so much room to grow. Even if you're going to be putting in and spending whatever you need to
40,
spend on
50
gas.
bucks in gas. Yeah, you might make that up like within within a few minutes.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be at the end. It's gonna be FOMO. People like once you guys get closer to the pre-sale ending, people are just gonna start contributing no matter what the gas prices are. But for now, you still got like 2 days. So as for me, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it'll get better. Maybe tomorrow or it'll be like $20 or something. Instead of like 8. So I don't think you have trouble
don't forget
filling
about
this.
us in the next 2 days.
I honestly I had issues with this, and I started putting everything into Excel, into calendar alerts because I had issues. I would like invest into pre-sale and then forget about it. They launched like for a week, and then it did like a pump and dump. And I'm like, damn it! If I knew about it, I probably would have sold.
Speaking of Excel, did you see my my message with the screenshot? If you want to share that with the community, it was in our chat that we had on the side.
Oh, let's see here. Oh yeah, definitely I can forward that. Yeah, whole project management type of suite. But you're doing it all in Excel, huh? Like you're not using an actual like
Oh, I mean,
like
software.
software.
We don't need to overcomplicate things for this, right? I just
Yeah,
I have my base spreadsheet where I have everything listed, and this is just one of the tabs to keep me updated on a daily basis as to what's coming up next and what we need to put our attention to.
Yeah, definitely. Let me tell you guys, most other projects launching in Pink right now, all these meme coins, they only have one line, one bar. Actually, maybe two. Create website and hype pre-sale. Because literally, like all these projects, I was doing a review for one of them. Pre-sale, that's the one that raised 10,000 BNB actually. Pre-sale was already going on for like 2 days, and the website was domain registered 5 days ago, like prior to that. So they literally like created a website, and 2 days later they already started the pre-sale. I mean, talk about I don't want to even get into it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? If you guys want to, you guys could even just jump in and launch, anti-rugger Pepe, and God knows what that'll mean.
We actually had those discussions. We had that discussions already in our inside groups, like as a meme, as a joke. It's like anti-rugger Pepe or something like that, or like pink sale scam Pepe or pink Pepe or something like that.
Here you go.
All right, guys. Any community questions? Anyone has any more questions? I feel that too scared to ask. This project is more complicated than the typical, and like I said, two lines for first task.
I just want to say, to the community. I mean, I know there was a lot of information there, but I urge everybody take a look at the website and read it up and down, top to bottom. Go through every link. I mean, there's a slew of information there on our chain, on their tokens, and we put together an extensive knowledge base on Gitbooks for projects, developers, miners, investors. I mean, I feel like the whole goal of this was to allow anybody, whether you're a novice or not, to just jump in and kind of learn about this and understand what we're doing here.
All right, perfect. I was gonna actually tell you to do like a closing statement, but if you already did, or do you have anything else to say?
I'll let KP finish up.
Yeah, no, I mean that's good enough. So obviously, yeah, join our Telegram and come to the community is very active, and we're always there. Ryan and I are always there to help answer any questions, and obviously the website is a plethora of information. Get yourself a beer or something. Take your time, sit in front of the screen, click around. Everything is very, very well written in terms of explaining everything. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, if you really want to find out what we're about, that's pretty much your Bible.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. All the new members here, stay around. We'll be doing the giveaway. And I would like to say, I don't do this for every AMA, but if I do like them, then I kind of strictly enforce this, that please basically join the Telegram group, or if you win, I'm gonna re-roll. So you have to be in the Telegram to collect the prize, because I want to, I want my guys to actually show some support in Telegram, not just for the AMA, but also join the community. So please, guys, go join their group. I see a lot of you already there, but please go ahead, because I want to support this project. It's definitely a breath of fresh air compared to what's been going on in the market lately. So definitely have my full support. And thanks.
We appreciate it. Thank you for offering your platform for us to speak.
Yeah,
thanks, and
really
good luck, guys.
it. Thanks, man.
All right.
Take care.
I'll see you at launch in 2 days.
Sounds
good.
good.
When are you launching? Because I know pre-sale's ending in 2 days, but
we're within a few hours of we're gonna not wait. We're gonna launch the same day.
Okay, I think that actually works well if it's pre-sale, not a fair launch project. That actually works well, but
it's because we've lined up a AMA 1 hour before the pre-sale ends. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not because this is a different lounge, but we have one with Golem. So
that's fine. Yeah, we're not like that.
Yeah. So we've lined one up there leading into the end of the pre-sale that if it does hit soft cap or hard cap, we can capitalize on a brand new fresh AMA that it's immediately launching right after that to help maybe promote some buy pressure at launch.
Yeah, perfect. That should definitely. So I would like to see this fill, by the time it's over. So good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah.
I see you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Nice.